Yeah, nobody seems to have the habit to leave like everything around the script. I mean, like before the first midterm, I found something of parts here and some of parts over there. Yeah. Okay, anyway, can we start with this passage? Could you please read this together from this famous quote? Wait, this word is about Trojan War.
Trojan War.
Yeah, in fact.
Helen Beauty had caused the Trojan bring Paris to Canada.
King of Sparta, then he put a war on Troy for this. Yeah, we talked about, when we watched the video we watched last week basically covers everything that was said to have happened in the story of Trojan War. Okay, so let's talk about some important points. Here, first question about the word it. May I ask you, what does the word it mean in the whole sentence? From this famous quote, it is clear that Helen's beauty was seen as the cause of the Trojan War. So here the word it means, may I ask you, Cindy. Here the word it means, it is clear that Helen's beauty was seen as the cause of the Trojan War. Yeah, you're right. Actually here, the sentence here, that all the way to Trojan War means the word it, because it's kind of long. So usually you might say, it is important that we drink enough water every day, or it is important that you can take a nap during lunchtime so that you can have enough energy in the afternoon. Okay, so here because the sentence is kind of long, so we use the word it, and then we use that in the sentence in the later part of the sentence. Okay, and here for the part was seen as, this is a meaning expression, so can we use it as a review? For as seen as, the meaning would be, you think someone or something is like blah blah blah. So here for the first expression, be what? Blah blah blah. A word beginning with a letter C. Be considered. And then here, should we use be considered as? No. So here, when you say consider, for example, you might say Helen was considered to be, or just nothing. So you can say Helen was said to be, Helen was considered to be, Helen was considered the most beautiful woman in ancient Greece. It's okay. And what about the second expression? I ask you, we talked about this before, maybe Eva. So here, in addition to the first kind of expression, be considered, what about the second kind? A word beginning with the letter B. Be viewed as and seen, and then a word beginning with the letter R. Ask you, senior. Be regard. Senior looks so innocent. Regard. Okay, yeah, be regarded as. And then for the last word, sometimes you use it in your conversation, but not in your writing all the time. Be take. For example, somebody said something good to you, and you said thank you. I will take it as a compliment. 有人称赞你做得很好，说哦 thank you， 我就把它当作是一个很好的赞美，我就不会说不好意思。I will take it as a compliment. So when you say you take something as, also mean you treat it as, you think of it as. It's okay. But here for the word taken, most of the time we use it in conversation. So for example, you might say her idea was taken as some kind of criticism in the actor's eye. 他的意见在那个演员的心中像是批评。So when you say be taken as, usually you use it in your conversation. 我觉得那是像什么 like that. It's okay. And here the third kind, two-word expression. If the first word is thought. Helen was considered the most beautiful woman. Helen was taken as, regarded as, seen as, viewed as the most beautiful woman. Helen was thought. When you say you think, 思考定两个介词，一个是思考一个问题 ，think about something。第二个是想到什么事情，我是觉得怎么样。昨天想到你 I thought of you yesterday. So when you say you think of someone as someone is thought of as, you mean in your you feel cold. No? Okay, yeah. Do you know that the typhoon won't come to Taiwan Yeah. You feel sad. Come on. Shouldn't you like express some sympathy? Oh, I feel glad that Hong won't hit Taiwan, so people in Taiwan will be safe. No, it doesn't hit Taiwan, so we can have a day off. Anyway, like here, the last one, be thought of as be 被视为是怎么样? Look, thank you. But basically, I mean, like this would be the complete set of expressions you could use to talk about in your mind someone is viewed as blah blah blah. It's okay. So here. April. April is considered blah blah blah. Could you please finish the rest of the sentence? Sammy. April. April is considered blah blah blah. To make this easier first, here the first sentence blah 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 is considered the most handsome actor in Taiwan. Blah 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 is considered the most handsome actor in Taiwan. Finish the sentence. Taiwan Melody. Blah 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 is considered the most handsome actor in Taiwan. No. You're kidding. Or the most handsome actor in Asia. In Asia. What about that? In Asia. No one. Are you kidding me? No idea. Anita. You cannot mention anyone from, who's the group you like? Oh, Beast. In addition to like anyone from the band Beast. Like, who do you consider? What's Wu Xiansheng? A Korean star? Should I take it seriously? No. Okay, here. Mio. Who do you think to be, who do you consider the nicest classmate in your class?
Me!
She pointed at herself. I asked her, who do you consider the nicest classmate in your class? Kidding me? Who do you think to be, who do you consider the most interesting classmate in our class? Betty, the silent observer. We need to treat Betty more nicely. Ivy, you have the responsibility to take care of Betty. Yeah, sometimes she might be kind of quiet, but she has a lot of emotions going on. You know who have the most emotions going on in their minds in our class? Number one, Betty. Number two, Charlotte. Charlotte always has but like a lot of things going on. You see how many books there are on her desk? Yeah, like, when one reads a lot, there are a lot of things going on in their mind. But anyway, Betty, what about your neighbor Ivy? Ivy, in addition to yourself, who do you consider the most interesting classmate in our class? Just name one.
你最有趣啊，废话。
Here, like here, in fact, actually, Helen's Beauty has caused the Trojan Prince Paris to kidnap her. Here, call somebody to do something. Okay, call somebody to do something. And here for the word kidnap. When we talked about this word, we also talked about another word that begins with a letter A, but the meaning is a bit different. Kidnap usually means in a violent way, but when you say somebody used some non-violent ways to take a person away, a word beginning with a letter A. Any idea? Sandy. 诱拐. Of a duct. Of a duct. A-B-D-U-C-T. Can I erase this? Is this your Chinese teacher writing down? Okay, yeah, here, of a duct. A-B, and then D-U-C-T. So here, maybe say those about of duct. Yeah, so he says, the little girl was abducted yesterday, and now the police are trying to find her. Like that. But here we say kidnapped, meaning but the ways are kind of different. And here, Helen's husband, the king of Sparta, then declare war. So like when you say somebody or some country declare war in Chinese, what do you mean? Angela, when you say somebody declare war or a country declare war in Chinese, you might say, yeah, 宣战, right? So like here you can say, after the tragedy of 9/11, the U.S. declared a war on Iraq to find the person that was behind all the scheme. 那些阴谋背后的人. So when you declare war, you mean like you started to have war with another country. And then the preposition on, just get into this. Declare war on the country with this. May I ask you? The word this, what does it mean? Ivy, the word this, what does it mean? Helen's husband, the king of Sparta, then declare war on Troy with this. Sparta? Yeah. Come on. Nicole, do her a favor. The word this means Paris. Helen's beauty. Trojan horse. Paris. Yeah, you're right. So like here the whole thing, I'm having Helen's husband, the king of Sparta, then declare war on Troy for Paris kidnap of Helen. Easy? So like before we move on, please read the first paragraph once again from this famous quote. It is clear that Helen's beauty was seen as the cause of the Trojan War. In fact, Helen's beauty had caused the Trojan prince Paris to kidnap her. Helen's husband, the king of Sparta, then declared war on Troy for this. So like here, this is a story in the ancient Greek culture. But Chinese culture, can you think of anybody, any female, that is often viewed as the source of some kind of trouble afterwards? Yeah, in Chinese we have a kind of negative expression for that kind of figure. I mean, female figure in history. You might call it like portion like that, but like that's pretty a negative part. But we don't use it nowadays. But can you think of any female figure in our Chinese culture? Ivy, any idea? Belle, any idea? Oh, you mean the guy? Now, I mean the guy who opened the gate. I mean like along the Great Wall for the soldiers from another tribe to come in. Okay, yeah. And then what? Is it different? But what about in the Western culture? In addition to Helen, there's one famous figure in the ancient Egyptian culture. We talk about her very often, and the person is often described in many movies. Cleopatra. Cleopatra. No idea? This woman in the ancient Greek culture, she married Julius Caesar, she married Anthony, she married 3 or 4 guys in her life just to gain the power over the great Egyptian area. Cleopatra. In Chinese we gave her another title, the fabulous queen of Egypt, or the gorgeous queen of Cleopatra. But her Chinese name, directly translated from this, like that. I don't know why. Yeah, but anyway, but this is the English name. So what? You know her? How come you know her? The reason I show you this is something interesting between the ways we describe the beauty of a Western figure and our Chinese way of describing someone beautiful. Like you see, for Helen, the story described her as the most beautiful woman in ancient Greece, and the Prince Paris even wanted to have her like as the greatest wish in his life, but then you see when you describe someone's skin as frozen fat. I don't know what that really means. What does it mean? Like, does it mean that the person's skin is good to touch? So the but my question is, like here, when I look up for information, the 4 greatest beauties in our Chinese history, in addition to her, do you know the other 3? I can't know the other 3. Are you kidding me? Okay, yeah. But anyway, in our Chinese culture, anyway, for your information, if you really want to talk about these troublesome figures, female figures, in English, we don't have this kind of term. But in French, there is such a term. We call it femme fatale. Femme fatale. Femme fatale. So when somebody is a femme fatale, the lady was considered a troublesome lady that brought about a lot of trouble in history. Femme fatale. Yeah. So like here, when we say the term together, femme fatale. Yeah, but in French, maybe there's a different pronunciation, but in English, we just pronounce the term based on the spelling of it. It's okay. So here, like in English, we don't have an exact term, but in French, yeah, there's a term. So just for information. Okay, move on. But here's the second part. Please do this together. However, it was neither. Paris' passion nor the king's anger that burned down Troy, the city which at the time was second to none on earth, the seeds of its destruction. So, as a result of a dispute among 3 jealous goddesses, long before the war. Yeah, so like here for the first sentence, it was neither Paris' passion nor the king's anger that burned down Troy. If I show you the first key part, it was. What could be the second key part that goes with the sentence pattern? That, you're right. 这个地方的 it was that 跟上一段的第一句 it is clear that Allen's belief of above 是一样的吗？不一样，对不对？这个地方 it was that 这边用的是 this. If you want to emphasize something, you 把后面的句子重要的部分拉出来，用 it is, it was 强调 that. 所以这个地方是以前高一学过的一个句型 this. 这个地方的分裂句呢，知道就好，因为有时候我们在书上看到分裂句是这样，比如说 it was she that had helped the whole class win the contest， 就正是她的努力让班上赢得了比赛。所以这地方 it was it is that 是把它拆开的句型，跟上一段的第一句不一样，所以你再来看一下，上一段的第一句的 that 到后面是一个名词子句，这个地方的 it is that it was that 是一个分裂句，稍微看一下 ，it's okay, yeah. And here, neither nor means, yeah, both of them could not do this. Neither this nor this. And here, for burn down Troy, and at the time was second to none. When we say burn down, the Chinese meaning is just like something was on fire and it was destroyed. Yeah, so like here, did you read the news that over the weekend, a store in Gongguan was burned down? Does anyone of you live near that area? A store, an eyeglass shop was burned down over the weekend. So like actually in Taipei, like yeah, accidents still happen. So like it means something was on fire and got destroyed. Is this something in your like poem recitation? No. Really? Why? So. You mean Ferrari? Come on. Anyway, like something was second to none. In Chinese, what do you mean when you say something is second to none? Means someone or something is the best. So if you can think of a Chinese expression to mean the best, second to none, what can you? Yucheng. When you say someone is second to none, yeah, what do you mean when it's someone? For example, you might say, TFG's honor guard team is second to none. Yeah. Why does Yucheng look like sometimes she did nothing, but she looks like she has done something wrong? Like, no, so. Yeah. So when you say someone is second to none, you mean like something is the best. It's okay? Yeah. So here, say something good about your classmate, Jenny. You know who Jenny is? Jenny. Yeah. Our minister. Amy, could you say something nice about Jenny? Jenny is second to none when it comes to. Jenny is second to none. Yeah, in addition to education, is there anything nice we can say for Jenny? Jenny is second to none when it comes to. Cindy, any idea? Jenny is second to none when it comes to. Oh, you mean when Jenny is second to none when it comes to point presentation? Does she do that often in your Chinese class? No. Nicole is second to none when it comes to where? Nicole is second to none when it comes to dance. When it comes to, Nicole is second to none when it comes to dancing. I like that. Winnie is second to none when it comes to Melody as her neighbor. Say something nice for her. Winnie is second to none when it comes to. Winnie is second to none when it comes to eating. Is it really a compliment? Anyway, here. When you say that the city which at the time was second to none, when you say at the time, you mean what? During that time. So like here, if there's a word, you can use to mean at the time. Just a word. I called her last night, but she was already asleep at that time. So one word, then. So like the city which then was second to none on earth. It's okay? The seeds of its instruction had already been sowed as a result of dispute among previous goddesses long before the war. So here when you say the seeds of something, sow the seeds of something, sow. Just mean you put the seeds in the soil, in the ground. So like sow in Chinese you might say, 播种, like you plant the seeds in the soil. So like here when you say you sow the seed of something, in Chinese you might say this. The seeds of the destruction have already been sowed. So the first meaning could be kind of negative, but here you can say like 它对那个实验造成了他日后对科学的热情。Or you can say that experiment or that activity sowed the seed of her passion for science in the future. So here the expression sow the seed of 可以是好的，可以是正面的，也可以是负面的 sow the seed of。所以这样如果你指的是 could be the cause for something later, could be the motivation 动机 for something later. You could use the expression sow the seed of. And here the past tense of the word seed of the word sow. Sow. It's okay? Yeah, so here like the word sow, like regular past tense and past perfect tense. Sow, ed. It's okay? And here there is a like often used expression. What you are doing right now could contribute to your success in the future. So shall you reap? There is a 3-word part for it. As you sow. As you sow, so shall you reap. So like here it's like what you have sowed, like what you have worked on, you will get what you have been working hard for in the future. Okay? 这个地方的 shall 呢是 will 的以前的用法，所以现在已经不会用 shall 这个字，之前的 shall 会跟 we 跟 you 一起用。So like here you read like we shall, you shall, the word shall is the old time usage of the word you and we 当助动词的时候，但现在不这样用了。It's okay? Yeah. Before you please read example as you sow. So shall you read? Yeah. The word read, what does it mean? Read. Read means harvest. 收割. So like you can say the farmers reap the crops in fall， 在秋天的时候收成 like that. Okay. So like here, for as a result of a dispute among three Jewish goddesses, just to review, when you say as a result of something, because but here there are two other expressions. One with the letter D. Due to, and here owing to. Yeah, owing to. So you can say like you had an extra day off owing to the strong typhoon before the first midterm. So like we use it due to, owing to, because of, as a result. It's okay. Yeah. So like here, or you can say like yesterday morning, owing to the drizzling rain. 因为有下一些小雨 owing to the rain, we didn't have the morning gathering. 早上没有升旗. Yeah. And here for long before the war, number one for the word dispute, we talked about it. We talked about vocabulary. In Chinese, we mean a small fight. But there could be two words, one with the letter Q. If we say or or, but what about the second word? That's okay. You can ask your neighbor, like, or the neighbor before you. Yucheng, any idea about the word beginning with the letter Q? That's okay. If we say quarrel, how to spell the word quarrel? The word shows up like on your first midterm. Remember, quarrel, Q-U-A-R-R-E-L, R-R-E-L, quarrel. So quarrel can be used as a verb or a noun. 动名词都可以. And then here's a word. 小争执 ，B 开头，这个是以前没有讲过，可是有时候在对话里面比较常听到。If you watch American TV program sometimes, if you say bickering, just like this, bickering. So bickering like is a word we use also very often in our conversation. So you can say, 我昨天跟他有一些不愉快。Yeah, we had a bickering like in our club yesterday. 昨天在社团跟他有一些意见相左和 bickering. 所以 bickering 不是就是真的吵架，就只是意见上的不一样. Maybe you were kind of upset, but that wasn't really serious. It's okay. Yeah. So before we move on, could you please read the words about quarrel? Bickering. Yeah, bickering 这个字虽然是 ing 可是当名词用，所以前面可以加和没关系。So you can say like we had a bickering yesterday over some trivial things. 为了一些小事有一些不愉快 like that. It's okay. So before we move on, could you please read the second part together? However it was. Harris's passion more than contender that were not joy. City which at the time was second to none on earth. The speed of its destruction had already been so as a result of a dispute among three jealous goddesses long before the war. But here, it's just the second paragraph. But once again, 课文都很简单。可是呢，看到这一段的话，以前在讲单字的时候有想到一个 quote from Shakespeare, which shows sometimes we are all under control of some supernatural powers that we don't know about. This is a famous quote. Any idea? All the world is a stage. Yeah, so like actually Shakespeare's quote, I mean from As You Like It, somehow shows that sometimes, maybe right now, when something happens and you don't feel happy about it, maybe you would say, yeah, this is something we can control. This is something in my destiny, so I have to face it. Sometimes you like to explain something as your destiny so that you will feel better about it. Okay? But here, this part, before we move on, could you please read it once again? All the world's a stage. And all the men and women really players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man each time plays many parts. His acts in seven ages. In the second hour, we are going to have some classmates doing some presentation. 但是有时候在念这些东西的时候，你会觉得 ，yeah, not that strong related to it, right? So I found a clip, and I believe that this guy, when he said the words, you could feel strongly. I mean, about the words he said. Let's look at this.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely plays. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts.
Let me stop this for a minute. 这一段呢，因为在西方文化里面是很有名的，所以呢，在 BBC 呢，他们就请 Benedict Cumberbatch 把它整段完整把它念了一次。那有些字你可能看不懂，但是因为它真的念得很好，而且在等一下中间你看剧的时候，你会发现有一个小细节。I will ask you later on about this, but it's kind of long. Not that long, 2 minutes, but it's the most famous passage from that Shakespeare's play. So let's watch this together.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely plays. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewing, puking in the nurse's arm, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a willful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. And the soldier, full of strange oaths, bearded like the palm, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in horror, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, good capered line, with eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose, and pouch on side. His youthful hose well saved the world too wide for his trunk shank. His big, manly voice, turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
You know what this means? I mean, there was a little part, I mean, like, the 2-minute play is like one of the most famous parts of Shakespeare's plays, but there could be many words you don't know. But throughout the 2-minute like footage, did you notice something? BBC is a TV studio, I mean, in the United Kingdom. And here this 2-minute video just used many famous parts from the TV programs produced by BBC to show the process from one's period as an infant and the final phase of one before he or she passed away. So basically they use, because they would like to sell BBC's TV programs, so they use different parts from different TV programs to show the meaning of Shakespeare's play. It's okay. But maybe there could be many words you don't know. Maybe we can talk about that next time. Yeah. And here, since we talk about is and it was, the sentence pattern. So like, here we have a quick exercise about it. How would you translate the sentence? I played hide and seek with blah blah blah. Would you please read this together? I played hide and seek.
I played hide and seek with the cat and seek.
Yeah, by using the it is, it was sentence pattern. If you emphasize the word I, how can you use it was and that to emphasize the part I? It was me or it was I? It was I. It's okay. Could you please read this together? It was I that played.
It was I that played
Hide and seek with the cat and kid. This was the sentence pattern we learned last year. But here sometimes when you use the sentence pattern, maybe your sense of the language might make you want to use the word me. But since 这个地方是拉出来强调的部分，所以这个地方不能是 it was me，是 it was I， 永远是主词哦。这个地方是要注意一下。It's okay. But what about if you emphasize hide and seek? It was hide and seek that I played with the cat, ETFG. It's okay. Could you please read this together? It was hide and seek.
It was hide and seek that I played
With the cat, ETFG. Easy. But what about you emphasize with the cat? It would be, it was with the cat that I played hide and seek, ETFG. It's okay. 这个地方呢，在用的时候呢，通常就是 你会把一整个词抄到前面来，所以只是在平板上面稍微辨别一下。通常你不会说 it was the， 你可以说 it was the cat that I played with hide and seek in TFG， 可是这地方通常会把介词一起抄到前面来。比如你说就是在那个房间，他们缔造了那个条约 ，it was in the room that they made that deal。这样子到后，所以这地方会把介词跟地方或者介词跟对象拉到前面来。Yeah, and then if you emphasize in TFG, what could be the last example? It was in TFG that I played hide and seek with the cat. It's okay. Could you please read the last example? It was in TFG that I played hide and seek with the cat. Yeah, it's okay. So like here, this is something we need to know about. It was in Spanish because like we haven't talked about it for some time. Yeah, like we move on to about one more paragraph here. Could you please read this together in Greek mythology? Gods and goddesses were often involved in the conflicts between mortals. This was exactly what happened with the Trojan War, which the myth said actually erupted because Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite had a fight over a golden apple for the fairest on it. To avoid offending any of the three goddesses, Zeus refused to judge for them. Yeah, this was something we were watching in the clip too. So like here, in Greek mythology, when you say someone, these gods and goddesses, 这地方 like actor, actress, god, goddess, so like male god, female god, goddesses. It's okay. So like here they were often involved in. Let me say involved in. Chinese you might say 摄入 or 是卷入 like that. But here if there could be two more expressions, a word between the letter E. That means join, be part of something. In, engage. How to spell the word engage? E-N-G-A-G-E. And then there could be one more. Just get into. So you can say like the gods and goddesses often got into the conflicts, engaged in the conflicts. It's okay. Like between mortals. What are the word mortals? We talked about before. The Chinese meaning would be like this. But what about this word? Immortal. Remember immortal. So like this was exactly what happened with the Trojan War, which the myth said actually erupted between because Hera here may ask you the word which. What does it mean? Like what happened with the Trojan War? And here the word which means the Trojan War. It's okay. And here for the word which, if you think that this means the Trojan War, it could be meaningful. But if you mean this means the whole thing, it could also be used that way. 可是这地方的重点是，如果这边指的是前面一个 Trojan War 或是整件事情 ，this comma could not be deleted。这个地方就稍微注意一下，因为如果说这件事情再这样说的话，是怎样讲的话，这个 which 是不可以用到，不可以省略掉它的。Okay. And here for the part the myth said, myths just means 传说，所以是可数的 s， 所以你说 those legendary stories 在神话里面说，这个地方的 said 不会影响句子的结构，所以呢就好像说，我觉得他是一个很好的人 ，she I think is a nice person， 这个地方 I think the myth said 这样的东西都当补数的用法，不会影响句子的结构，所以你说，他在人民的心中是一个很好的政府官员 ，she many people think is a nice government official， 所以这地方 people think the myth said I think I believe 都会影响句子的结构哦，然后 yeah，and then the actual part is like this。So here the myth said 这个地方写在括号里面是不存在的，所以整句的意思应该只是用 with the Trojan War which actually erupted because Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite blah blah blah. It's okay. Yeah. And then for this part, had a fight over. Here when you say you had a fight over something, but if you say a person, it would be with. 所以你说跟他有一场争执 I had a fight with her over something， 这样知道吗？所以 over 的介词呢是在某件事情上面有一件这样做，是跟谁的话是会这种，知道哦？所以介词的用法不会因为你的意思不一样而有差别。你说我跟他有不愉快 I had a fight with her， 关于一件事情 over something， 知道哦？ An apple marked with the words for the fairest on it. Here marked with the words for the fairest on it， 这个地方 有一个句型被省略了，看得出来吗？他们就为了一个金苹果而有所争执，一个什么样的金苹果 ？Marked with the words for the berries on it。所以如果有东西被省略的话，是什么被省略了 ？Yeah, you're right. Thank you. So like here, this part, the original part should be which one? Marked. 知道哦，复习一下。所以这个地方你看，这边一句这句话有点长哦，从 this all the way to it。但是这个地方其实只有 this was exactly what happened with the Trojan War。然后呢，后面这边就一整个指的是前面的 Trojan War， 所以这句话呢，其实就只有前面，这就是在特洛伊战争发生的事，而特洛伊战争在传说中就是怎样，所以呢，这边其实都只是补充叙述前面的 Trojan War 或是这件事情，知道好，所以这句话很长，可是结构很简单。那这边 which was marked 当个子构句，稍微注意一下。Okay, and then to avoid offending, to avoid making any of the three goddesses angry, he refused to judge for them. So like he declined to do that for them, and then he asked Paris to make the judgment, right? Before we go, could you please read this part together in Greek mythology? Involved in the conflict between mortals. This was exactly what happened with the Trojan War, which the myth said actually erupted because Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite had a fight over a golden apple, marked with the words for the berries on it. To avoid offending any of the three goddesses, Zeus refused to judge them. Okay, so just maybe talk about just one last part here, like instead. Please move on instead. Commented that Paris handled this difficult and annoying task. Knowing that Paris was going to be the judge, the three goddesses each promised him the best gift they could give in order to win the golden apple. Hera tried to bribe him with power over Europe and Asia. Athena offered him great skills in battle and wisdom. Aphrodite gave him the word that she would help him with the heart of the most beautiful woman in the world. So like for the word instead, like what does it mean when you say instead? There's a three-word expression. I didn't go out yesterday, instead I stayed at home. 这地方有三个字的小拼图，反 Here the meaning would be 反之来言 but here there's a three-word expression that's you. 在我那一课的时候讲到那个字，反之的 C. Can you hear? Yeah, erase this. Okay. Yeah, my apologies. So like here, if you say 相反的 contrary. How do you spell the word contrary? T-R-A-R-Y. And here 这个地方就有一个介词 on the contrary 有点影响好，所以如果只是相反的，for example, I didn't go out last night. On the contrary, I stayed at home with my family. So on the contrary 通常指的是反之，相反。另外一方面来说 ，C-O-N-T-R-A-R-Y contrary. On the contrary, it's okay. So like here, on the contrary, he commented that Paris handled this difficult and annoying task. So when we say handle, just means tackle, handle, deal with, cope with. So handle just means you try to solve a problem. Okay. And here, he commented Paris handled this difficult and annoying task. I ask you, 这地方应该有点印象。那这边为什么不是 ED 呢？因为它不是过去的事情嘛，他就要求 Paris 要处理这个困难的问题。Commanded 是过去式，那这边的 handle 不用过去式，是因为这个地方 command 这个句型等一下会讲到 command 命令，对不对？所以在英文里面包含命令直接要求的句子，其实它有一个字，对，它有一个字被省略了，因为是希望他应该要做到这件事情。所以当你说 command request 这种直接命令的用法的时候，其实在比喻上面你是说他要求 Paris 应该要处理这个棘手的问题。这个句型下一次会讲到，但是目前你可以先记一下。ED 后面对到的是原型，是因为这个地方的 should 已经被省略。那你可能会问说，能不能写出来呢 ？You can do that, but now we don't do that。因为这地方会变成多写一次，等于说他就要求他应该要处理这件事，这个应该就不会再写，因为等于说是好像写2次的。所以不是不能写，只是 now it's not our habit to use the word should in the command request sentence pattern. It's okay, yeah. And here, knowing that Paris was going to be the judge, the knowing 可以问一个问题吗？为什么是 knowing 呢？因为后面这个地方的 knowing 对到底是谁知道呢 ？The three goddesses。所以这地方是一个小句型。这边的时候，如果这边是 The three goddesses each promised him the best gift they could give him in order to blah blah blah。前面知道，那这边一个小跟词构句的话，原本句型应该是。在他们知道以后，因为他们知道点点点，所以这边完整句的话，如果是 after， 后面应该是 after they knew， 知道吗？这个地方，所以呢 ，they the three goddesses 重复删掉 ，after 这词删掉，只留下 knew 变成 knowing。So you can also say after knowing or just knowing. You know what I mean? 所以这里要分词构句，你可以说 after they knew that blah blah blah, after knowing that blah blah blah, or just knowing that. Okay. So like after they knew this, they promised him the best gift they could give in order to win the golden apple. So like when you say they could give, here this is sentence pattern missing. The best gift 有一个字被省略在这边，是他们能够给的最好的礼物。The best gift that they could give. And here 为什么这个 that 可以被省略呢？因为这边是受词。They give the gift to Paris. You move it to here. 所以原本是受词的位置在这里，所以可以被省略哦。然后这样的概念稍微要确定一下。So here they promised him the best gift that they could give in order to win the golden apple. Para tried to bribe him with the power over Europe and Asia, but did not offer. 这个地方呢，先注意一下这三个字的用法。Promise 跟 offer 后面不用接介词。When you say you bribe somebody, you need the word with. So here you can say, my mom promised me a new cell phone if I could fulfill my goal. 如果达成目标的话呢，可以能够拿到一支新手。Okay, the best gift they could give in order to win a golden apple. And here, the way we use promise and offer. Once again, like when you use promise and offer, just a noun afterwards. 谢谢你给我这个机会参加面试。Thank you for offering me the opportunity for this interview. So offer somebody something, promise somebody something, 不用介词。But for bribe, if you bribe somebody, you mean you try to buy them. So you need to show us with what you used to buy them. 所以这地方有三个动词 promise, offer, and bribe. But here for promise and offer, no preposition. But for bribe, you need a preposition. Bribe him with power over Europe and Asia. 这地方呢有两个介绍注意一下。The first one over and the second one in. 这地方的 power 呢可以问一下 ，Europe 跟 Asia 不是应该是 in Asia 跟 in Europe 吗？那为什么要用 over 呢？有原因吗 ？Like shouldn't you say France is in Europe and Turkey is in Asia? In 不是应该是介词吗？这地方不同的介词还是不同的意义。Power over somebody, control over somebody， 等于说在某个地区上面的控制，某个地区上面的权利。所以这地方指的是 like over that area, across that area， 所以指的是很宽的地区。所以这地方的 over 的介词是这样用。And then offer him great skill in battle and wisdom。这个地方为什么要用 in 呢？因为是在这个方面 ，the skill in battle and wisdom。It's okay。所以这个地方通常会用 in 的话，只是在那个方面。It's okay。So you can say her skill， 她打篮球的技巧很好。Her skill of playing basketball is amazing。这个地方如果你单纯指的是在某一个运动的话 ，of 也可以。可这地方因为指的是 battle and wisdom， 在这些比较广的方面，所以你看。Of 指的是特定的技巧 ，in 指的是在那个层面，所以 of 跟 in 都可以用，但是用的时候意思不一样。Power， 当然你说在欧洲跟 Asia 可以用 in， 可是因为是 power over 指的是横跨整个欧洲、亚洲大陆，所以是用 over， 这样知道后，所以这个不用记，只知道说不同的介词有不同的用法跟意思。Okay， and here Aphrodite gave him word that she would help him win the heart of the most beautiful woman in the world. When you say you give somebody your word, it's a meaning expression. What does that mean? I will give you my word. Means one word, just promise you. I promise you. So here, this word, 因为这地方为什么要用 gave him her word？ 因为这地方已经有 promise 出现，所以它只是换一个方式说。So you can say, my mom promised me that. My mom gave me her word that. Blah blah blah. See, 所以这地方give somebody your word just means promise. It's okay. And here, when you say you win the heart of somebody, just means like you make somebody like you. So you can say that the actress' performance in the drama really won the heart of fans worldwide. 那个男演员在剧里面的表现赢得了全世界少女的喜爱。可这地方小心 ，win the heart of somebody， 中文你会把它想象成赢得谁的心。可这地方 win the heart of somebody，usually you really mean like the admiration, the affection, the love. 所以 win the heart of somebody, win somebody's heart. Usually you mean like you have a crush on a person. 刚刚指的真的不是情感上的喜欢，所以如果你说赢得明星的话，你会说 win the support， 知道吗？所以这个地方通常指的就是真的是喜欢一件事情。可是如果你说赢得他的信任，赢得他的支持 ，win the support or win the trust。You know what I mean？ 所以这地方通常指的是喜欢不喜欢，跟中性的赢得谁的心没有关系。Okay? They ask me like, why do I have some kind of impression that on this floor, the sound could be delivered easily, but when you were in Zhongzheng building, the sound wasn't that delivered easily. Reading the same. But when I was in the Zhongzheng building, I didn't really find the sound delivered so easily. Okay, no, you're right. So that you have been used to this, that you have been hearing like sounds from the neighboring classes. So like later on, you not only memorize your own lines, but you also memorize your neighbor's lines. So basically like you share the performance together. Yeah, anyway, like here, just go over the passage together. Instead, he commented that Paris handled this difficult and annoying task. Knowing that Paris was going to be the judge, the best gift they could give in order to win the golden apple. Hera tried to fight him power over Europe and Asia. Athena offered him great skills in battle and wisdom. Aphrodite gave him a word that she would help him be the heart of the most people in the world. Okay. So here will be the last part. Could you please read it eventually? Paris shows Aphrodite a long thought. As a result, he was the judgment of Paris that ended up being the war broke out. So here, maybe Helen's beauty was desired, was being like envied of by people worldwide in ancient Greece. But it turned out that because Paris, he made his judgment that Aphrodite could have the apple, and in the end the Trojan War broke out. So like when you use the word like eventually, it means finally, at last. Finally, at last, Paris chose the chosen one. Yeah, Paris chose Aphrodite after long thought. What do you mean when you say you do something after long thought? Yeah, means like after thinking about something for a long time means this. But here I ask you, 有一个动词，刚刚在剧本里面有人写到的，有一个，如果你说 after long thought 一个小片语，如果是 here, over, also mean you think about something for a long time, 反复思索 ponder. How do you spell the word ponder? P-O-N-D-E-R. So when you say I ponder over that, the word ponder over. The word ponder already means you meditate. 有一个再回记一下。If I say meditate, how do you spell the word meditate? M-E-T. 所以 meditate 这个字呢，跟 ponder 指的是沉思 ，meditate 有点像是近乎冥想 like I spend some time meditating over what I have done throughout the day。这个是如果你说你静下心来想想，就是这个字。所以说一天过后，我常常会静下心想想发生了什么事，就是 meditate。所以 you can say meditate over something still。所以 ponder 指的是沉思，就是认真的思考。think 就单纯想一件事情，所以 think 就想事情 ，ponder 沉思 ，meditate。You think silently in your mind about what have happened, just for your own reflection. 就是自己在想。Yeah. All right, we'll stop here. And tomorrow we'll finish the rest of the part. Okay. So let's take a break. Are you